everybody. Welcome back to part two of Reborn Inara tutorial. I am finished with the color wash and she's all ready to start being painted. What I'm going to do today is veining, but since she is going to be a darker skin baby, I'm going to go ahead and put a coat of flesh tone on her before I put any veining on. So what I'm going to do is I have, I don't know if you can see this. This is flesh tone color 3, and I'm just going to take some of the color and add it to the tip of my brush. And I'm going to add some of my Mona Lisa paint thinner. And we're going to go ahead and put some of that into this little bowl here. Put my lid back on my paint thinner, and then I'm going to go ahead and mix the paint into the paint thinner. Make sure you mix really well, and you want it to be very translucent. Put my glasses on. Mix, mix, mix. When painting color onto your baby, I'm going to add a little bit more, not a whole lot more. When adding color onto your baby, you don't notice it the first couple coats. You really don't. It takes several coats before you really begin to see much of a difference. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to mix this up really well. You don't want it too dark, or you want to make sure it's very dilute. Otherwise, it's going to cake in the creases and wrinkles. So you're going to go ahead and start applying the paint. Make sure you get in the nostrils. And you can just do an even coat for your first coat. Just put it all over the vinyl. And in the mouth, in the ears. I have to get a new mop brush. It's easier to put the paint on with a mop brush. They're floppier and cover more of the surface as you're painting. So then I'm going to take my sponge wedge and I'm going to tap off the excess and get in those little creases. Also have an extra brush available. You can get into the little eyelash areas. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of like pulled up in this little crease here, and I'm just going to go ahead and take my brush into the little creases of the eyes and get that excess out. And same with the nostrils and the mouth. corners of the mouth and the ears. And a lot of the kits have on the back of the neck the artist's name. And go ahead and wipe the brush off onto a piece of paper towel. And make sure that it's not caked in there also. I wanted to make sure my mic was on. So many times I forget to put my mic on, and then I have a silent video. Not a good thing for a tutorial. So I'm going to finish tapping her excess paint off of the camera so I don't burn up extra time that is boring. I got her head all fixed and I'm ready to start on the hands and the arms and legs. Sometimes your sponge gets a little soaked with the paint and you can just take and kind of dab that off onto the paper towel in between. And I'm going to take her feet and we're going to start painting on her feet. And like I said in my previous videos, I like to do the feet and the hands first because I will hold it here. You can either put gloves on, make sure your hands are really clean, or put a piece of paper towel around so you don't get oils from your hands. And then I'm going to go, because the oil from your hands will get onto the vinyl. And I'm going to go ahead and tap off that extra. And then I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to just make sure that I'm getting all the paint color out of the creases. And then I'm going to take in her leg openings are nice and large, so I can kind of fit almost my whole hand in there. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to put the rest of the paint on the rest of the leg and make sure you've got it up around the edges at the top of the arms and legs. And then we're going to go ahead and dab off the excess. And I'm not going to show you the whole thing because this is about it. You just dab and dab and dab. And if you see extra paint that is in the creases, you just take your brush and you go into the creases and you dab that, brush that out. So I will be back. Now that her first skin tone layer is on and dried, we're ready to bake her. Remember, 10 minutes at power level 6 or 265 degrees. We'll see you when we're ready for veining. We are ready for veining, and let me see. I have vein blue here. Maybe I'll leave the light out. Looks like you can see a little better. I have a paintbrush here. It's not a real good brush, but I'm using it to mix up the paint. So I'm taking a little bit of vein blue and I'm going to add some of my paint thinner. And we're going to mix that up real good again. And I'm going to take, I have a brush here. I don't know if you can see how it's edged there. But I'm going to take, and I'm going to put some veining right here. I'm not going to worry too much about the rest of the head because she's going to have a lot of hair. This is a little unconventional here. I don't usually paint like this. Usually I have it down in front of me. I'm going to have another little vein coming down on the forehead. I don't know if you can see. It's not very dark. I may have to darken it. But I'm going to go ahead and smooth out the edges. Actually, I'm not gonna, I can't get the, this needs to definitely be a little darker. This one here. We'll let that dry a little bit over there. And maybe I also sometimes use this brush for veining also. It's very, there we go. It's very thin. And remember, we're going to put some modeling on top of this and a bunch of skin layers. So yeah, you don't want it too dark, but you don't want it too light. And basically, they're the veinings that I put on the face, on the side, the temples. I don't make my dolls real veiny. And then on the legs, I generally put a little bit of veining here. and a little bit down near the ankles. And usually like the side or the center of the knee. And then you're going to go ahead and smooth that out. And if it's gotten a little too wide, you can take a sponge and just take the edge of it and kind of reshape it. I don't know if you can see that or not. I don't like how that turned out there. Yep, you erase that. I just don't like how that turned out. And you want to smooth the ends of the veining in. You don't want it to just like all of a sudden stop. And what you can also do is just take a wet sponge and kind of blend it into the vinyl. And then for the tops of the foot, I'm going to use my thinner brush. And I'm going to put a little bit on the top of the toe here. And I don't like to make it too dark because I can always go over it again. So I don't know if you can see that or not. It doesn't always show up really good on the camera. And usually towards the end of the painting, I might add some little capillaries in around the ankle and all. So I will show you that later on in the process. And then on the hands, it's kind of the same thing. And we're going to let that dry. I want to put a little bit up here. And that's kind of really light, but that's okay. Like I said, a lot of times I wind up going over it again. Yeah, that's a little too light. It took me a while actually to kind of really perfect. I don't even know that I have the veins perfected so much. But it took me a while to get used to doing the veins so that they look real and they look like they're deep under the skin. Some of my earlier dolls did not look so great. I feel like I'm holding the vinyl too long. All right, I got a paper towel to hold on to the vinyl. It's just that it's getting a little warmer up here now, and I feel like my hands are starting to sweat, and I don't want the oils to be getting onto the vinyl. Okay. And a lot of times when I do my blue undertones, I go over these lines also. So it's always a work in progress. And okay. I don't always buy real expensive brushes because they do get a workout. Now I don't buy dollar store brushes. I do like them a little better, but sometimes I'll buy the like cosmetic brushes like this at the dollar store um, for, you know, like brushing out like this. You can kind of brush it out. That kind of made it go away a little bit too much. And then I'm going to just take, where'd that other little brush go? Okay. And alrighty. We can add some little extra veining. Around the wrist also. And maybe under the arms if you feel adventurous. All right, and I'm going to do the rest of it off screen here, and that's veining. Before I close out this part of the video on veining, I just want to show you what I also do. I go over, now that it's cooked, I kind of just go over in a thicker line. And then I just take a brush and I brush it. And this just kind of gives it a little more of a bluish undertone around the veins. And I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but I'm going to go through and do this on the other arm and the legs and then the head. So and we have this vein. And I may, like I said before, I may still go ahead and do this again later on in the painting process. I'll be showing you undertones and modeling and everything. So that is veining, and thank you for watching. And the next part is going to be modeling, and I'll see you on part 3. Have a great day. Bye.